You are listening to MFM 92.6. Move to the music.
Why am I talking about wine? The reason is because I have a doc here, Dr Mesias Alpheus. He is a senior lecturer in the Department of Statistics and Actuarial Science at the Stellenbosch University and South Africa, and he's also a NITheCS Quantitative Finance Research Program Manager. He has a PhD in Quantitative Finance from the University of Technology in Sydney, Australia. And we have him here on MFM 92.6, Move to the Music. Doc, it's so great to have you, and it's a pleasure to always just have you around when you teach us some of these important subjects as we get to talk about.
No, thank you very much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I appreciate having you here, Doc. Firstly, Dr. Alpheus, could you briefly explain what inspired you and your team to develop the South African Fine Wine Index?
The inspiration behind developing the South African Fine Wine Index stems from our interest in alternative investment and the unique potential we saw in fine wines. South Africa has a rich tradition of wine production, with several wines consistently receiving international acclaim. We realized that these higher quality wines could offer more than just an exceptional drinking experience. They could also be a viable and profitable investment. So now, given this growing global interest in fine wine as an asset class, we wanted to create up a structured way to evaluate and invest in South African fine wine. By constructing this wine index, we aim to highlight the top 10 wines that exhibit the quality, the liquidity, also the desirability. Our goal was now to provide a new wine that's actually a diversifiable index in a portfolio that offers investors to actually invest in alternative financial market instruments such as fine wine. This research is particularly exciting as it's a first attempt to develop up an index in South Africa, potential paving way for a broader acceptance and investment in an alternative investment asset.
Nice, Doc. And how did you select these wines that make up the top 10 in your index?
The selection process was actually a tough one.
Surely.
We consider first of the trading volume, the wines that are actually being often traded, and then we look at the volume, and we also look at the quality of the wine, meaning the value, the economic value of the wine. We also look at the 5-year average rating of the wine critic in South Africa, who is called Tim Atkins, and we consider all these three factors into considerations, and then we filter up to develop up this top 10 wine index. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And then, Doc, I saw that you used a certain approach and research, which is a stochastic model and benchmark approach. Can you just elaborate on it for us and tell us about this research?
Okay, well, a stochastic model is a model that tries to model the unpredictable event in the financial market. And a benchmark approach is an approach that was developed by Professor Eckhard Platten from the University of Technology in Sydney, Australia, many years ago. That this approach tried to challenge the traditional classic theory in finance, that to say if one wants actually to diversify a portfolio, one has to maximize the growth rate of your investment. And this approach allows us to capture the inherent uncertainty and volatility associated with especially with the wine market, providing us a more realistic approach in modeling wine index in South Africa.
And what were the key findings regarding the risk and an expected growth rate when including the fine wine index in a diversified portfolio?
I mean, we're pleased to say that, first of all, this study was aimed at two approaches. The first one was to develop up a first South African wine index that actually tracked the performance of wines in South Africa. And secondly, we wanted to actually empirically verify that this wine index is actually a diversifiable index. So if we put this wine in a portfolio that consists of a mixture of top performing index in the world, we see that your expected return increase and your risk actually decrease. That already means that this wine index is a diversifiable index, and this is of course go ahead with in line with the literature that fine wine actually is an investable asset. And we're of course pleased to see that this fine South African fine wine is actually a diversifiable index.
Oh, nice. And how do you see the fine wine market in South Africa evolving over the next few years?
I see the fine wine market in South Africa evolving rapidly over the next few years with significant growth potential as more local and international investors recognize the benefit of diversifying their portfolio with alternative assets, and interest in fine wine investment is likely to increase. In South African fine wine, because of their exceptional quality and unique characteristic, and also South Africa is well positioned to attract growing investors from abroad.
Doc, you know that you're making me now want to go research which companies are selling their shares at the moment and start investing there a little bit, even if you get the tiniest share. What advice would you give to potential investors considering fine wine as part of their investment portfolio? As you're hearing me as well, I want to be part of that investor.
No, thank you that you're also interested in fine wine like myself. My advice to potential investor considering fine wine as part of their investment portfolio is to look closely at our wine index that we created. Our study underscores that South Africa fine wine is an excellent option for those looking to grow and diversify their investment. Fine wine in particular, if you including our index, offer a unique combination of higher quality, market liquidity, as well as investment potential. So look at our fine wine index for South Africa that we'll be keeping updating every quarter, and invest into this wine. Nothing more.
Doc, can we be friends? Can we be buddies, Doc? I can't lose you now, whereas you hear me. I'm going to come to you and say, hey, should I invest here, Doc? And then you're like, go, my friend, let's invest there. Before I let you go, Doc, I just want to ask you, just to explain with us quantitative finance. What is it exactly?
Okay, well, quantitative finance is a study that studies the application of mathematics in finance, and is more related with developing up financial models that can able to capture the new market phenomena. And at Stellenbosch, we have quantitative finance, so we teach our students to be able to be well equipped with new tools to be able to model the upcoming risk in the financial market. So it's an exciting career, and I would encourage people to consider financial risk management or quantitative finance at Stellenbosch University.
Oh, thank you, Doc. We're definitely going to do it, and I'm very interested in it. By the way, people, it's happening today. If you want to learn more about this chat that we're talking about right now, at 4 until 5, it's happening vandaag, today, here in the NITheCS Cinema. Come through, students, as many as you are. And guess what? What you love and what Doctor is going to be talking about, which is our Dr Mesias Alpheus, is wine. There will be some wine after the whole show when it's done. So be sure to be just given some good taste of wine of Stellenbosch. All right? Come through at the NITheCS, my good people. Definitely going to enjoy this beautiful topic, which is the top 10 South African fine wines to drink or to invest. Doc, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming through. This is very, very interesting.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure to chat with you.
You are listening to MFM 92.6. Move to the music.